In the company of Harcourts, Rata and Co. I'm joined here today by some of my award-winning colleagues in blue. Should you require their advice, please feel free to approach either Lou Mekanowski, Andrew DeSanto, and of course, Mr. Joel Viavattene, who's inside at the moment, but who no doubt you've had the great pleasure of becoming acquainted with throughout the marketing campaign. Buyers, please let me share with you the following announcements, which are in place to help you bid and buy with absolute confidence here today. The auction will be conducted in accordance with the rules and any additional conditions that were made available for inspection before the start of the auction. The auction rules prohibit an auctioneer from accepting bids or offers for property after the property has been knocked down to the successful price. As the auctioneer, I'll indicate bidders on request. The law prohibits false bids, prohibits major disruptions by bidders, and prohibits bidders attempting to prevent others from bidding, and provides for fines for such conduct. The rules permit for vendor bids. The words I'll use during the auction to indicate that I'm making a bid on behalf of the vendor are vendor bid, and by law only I, as the auctioneer, can make a vendor bid. The contract of sale has been on display prior to today's auction. We call for 10% deposit upon the fall of the hammer and the signing of that contract to take place here today, with the balance to be paid at settlement in a flexible 30 to 60 days time, at which time the vendor will provide the lucky buyer with vacant possession of the property. All in all, quite a straightforward contract. Everything is in here, everything is quite clear. So buyers, is with my highest recommendation what we offer for your consideration and competition here today. A great opportunity for those first home buyers among us, a great opportunity for those investors, a great opportunity for any astute buyer looking to buy a great property in a central location. And here in Dickens Street, we have access to a wonderful array of infrastructure which provides for a great lifestyle and good capital growth. Easy access to transport, not far away at all from LALOR station. Easy access to good quality schools, both primary and secondary, and plenty of shopping options, not the least of which are High Street. And then of course you have May Road and Station Street, which you have easy access to. The property itself, its own street frontage, no common property associated with the property, a nice big floor plan, open plan floor plan, providing plenty of natural light and providing plenty of room for you and the family today, but also plenty of room for you and the family to grow into over the years, and they create those memories right here at number 3 at 25 Dickens. The first memory will be getting the sold sticker up on the board. So if that is your goal here today, to put the sold sticker up when all is said and done, right now is your opportunity to reserve that right. Buyers, where can I see a fair and reasonable starting bid for 325 Dickens? Who'd like to start us off? I don't mind the call, buyers. I'm in your hands. Start me where you like. Always the most quiet part of an auction at the very start, considering the strategy to employ, to start high, to start low. What's important, buyers, if you are here to buy, is to start from a position of strength. This is your opportunity to show every other potential competitor, every other potential buyer here today, that the keys do belong to you, that the home is yours. So you've got the opportunity to start now from a position of strength, buyers. At 530,000, welcome, best of luck here today, 530, and we'll go with that. At 530,000, bids at 530. At 530, the bid. At 530,000, fairly been offered now at 530, the bid. Any better offer than 530. At 530,000. At 530,000, bid their opportunity with every other interested party here today. At 530, I have now for the first call at 530,000. Are we done? At 530,000, second call at 530. Are we done? Finished. Third, final call. 40. I was hoping for 20 in the rise. Can entice you in for 50, sir. At 530, the bid's there. Make a statement bid, show strength to the competition, put yourself ahead of the game at 530,000. At 40. At 40 now, I'll give you the same courtesy at 10 if you like. At 540 I have. At 540,000. At 540,000, still great value at that. At 540 in the bids there, across the road. Opportunity with you, can't buy with one bid. At 540 now. At 540,000, fairly been offered. 50, got it. 550,000, 60 it's got to be. At 550,000, the bid's back behind. At 550 now. Be decisive if you want to buy it. 60, got it. 560,000. At 560,000, pressure right back on you, sir, ma'am. At 60 now, and make it 70 in the rise. At 560,000 and the bid's there. At 560 the bid. At 560,000 for the first call at 560, are we done? At 560,000, second call, it's got to be 10, sir, say 70 in the rise and get ahead. At 60 in the bids, at 70 got, thank you very much. At 570,000, back on top at 70. At 570,000, bid back there at 80, again the quick retort at 80. At 580,000, at 580,000, fairly been offered now at 580, bids there at 80. At 580,000, how about we be bold, sir, and round me off to 6. at 585. Are you absolutely sure you want to show that sort of weakness to the competition, or you want to keep showing strength at 585? At 585, at 585, and same courtesy at 5 if you like, at 90 now, at 590,000. Now you see, sir, small bids help the competition come along. You make it easier for the competition to bid with small bids. Big bids buy property, and the best response to a small bid is always a big one. At 590,000, the bid's there, the opportunity with you, perhaps round me off to 6. At 590,000, fairly been offered. At 590, the bid. At 590,000, bids there. Once at 90, are we done? 95. At 95 now. At 595 and 600. At 600,000, even money at that at 6. At 600, the bid. At 600,000, bids there at 600. At 600,000, even money. Don't let it scare you off, it's just a round number. At 600,000, fairly been offered once. At 600,000, are we done? Twice. At 600,000, are we done? Finished. I will take 2.5 at 602 2.5 if it gets you back in the game at 2.5. The same courtesy at 2.5 here. 610. At 610 and even better. I was going to suggest a bigger bid, sir. You read my mind. At 610,000. At 610,000. Fight fire with fire now at 610 and the bid's there. At 610,000. At 610,000, fairly been offered. At 610, the bid. At 610,000, bids there across the road. Opportunity here with you. At 610 now. Once at 610,000. All done. Twice. At 610, are we done? Finished. Third. At 612.5 now. How about another big bid, sir? At 612,500. So will it help if I tell you that we're on the market and selling? Because we are. At 612,500, bids there, keys are there. We're on the market. We sell away here today. If you're here waiting for me to go inside and seek instructions from our vendor, I will not be doing that here today. Our instructions have been sought. They have been given. They are to sell at 612,500. The bid is here at 13.5 now, at 613.5. Bids there now, keys are there. We're on the market. We play for keeps. We sell here today at 613,500. At 14 now, at 614 and 15. At 615,000. At 615,000. This is where it counts, sir, ma'am. If you come to buy, you must show me interest now and a half now, 615.5. At 600, at 16, at 616, at 616,000, fairly been offered at 616, at 616.5, at 616,517 got, at 617, at 617, bids back there, keys are there, we're on the market, we sell, no second chances here today, at 617,000, we sell away now once, at 617, all done. And a half now at 617.5 and 18, the quick retort again at 618,000. At 618,000, the halves are making it easy for the competition to come along. At 618,000, the bid's there at 618. At 618,000, 19. At 619. At 619,000, back there at 19. Opportunity with you, can I say 20 in the rise? At 619,000, fairly been offered. We're on the market. We sell. First call at 619, all done. Second call at 619,000, all done. Finished. And a half, 20. At 620, at 620,000. Try a bigger bid, sir. The small bids aren't working for us here. At 620,000, the bid's there. Opportunity with you at 620,000. Can I suggest that we be bold and go for 625? At 620,000, the bid's there at 620. At 620,000, fairly been offered, bids there, keys are there. We sell away in the absence of any further bidding here today, 620.5. At 21, at 621, at 621,000, fairly been offered, back there now at 621. At 621,000, keys are on the other side of the street, but the opportunity is here. At 621, fairly been offered. At 621,000, we sell away. There's no further increase from 621. At 621,000, we're on the market. We sell for the first call at 621. Done. Twice at 621,000. Done. Finished. Third, final call, $621,000 the bid. Are we all done? All finished. All silent and out at 621 and 621.5. At 621.5 now at 622. At 622,000. At 622 and the bid's back there again at 622,000. At 622,000, don't walk away for half. At 622 the bid. At 622,000, fairly been offered now. Bids there, keys are there. We sell once at 622. All done. Twice at 622,000. Done. Finished. Third, final call at $622,000 the bid. All done, all finished, all silent out at 622 and a half, at 622 and a half, at 23, at 623,000, at 623, and we're back there now again at 623, at 623,000, fairly been offered, at 623 the bid, at 623,000, at 623,000, if you tell me you're out, I'll sell at that, at 623, at 623,000, fairly been offered now, bids there, keys are there, we sell, once at 623, done, twice, at 623,000, are we done? Finished. For the third and final call at 623 and a half. At 623 and a half now. At 623,500. At 623 and a half. At 623 and a half now. Course for optimism, sir. You've got them thinking now. 623 and a half. At 24, at 624,000, it was a more laboured bid than what we've become accustomed to. At 625, and that's a better bid. At 625, fight fire with fire, give me 1.5 at 625 and a half. At 625,500, bid back there now at 625 and a half. At 625,500, have I got your absolute best here today? At 625 and a half, fairly been offered, bid there, keys are there, we're selling once at 625 and a half, are we done? Twice. At 625 and a half, done and finished. Third, final call at 625,500, all done. 26 at 626 now. At 626,000 and a half now at 626 and a half. At 626,500. How about 30 in the rise, sir? At 626,500, fairly been offered back there with Andrew's buy at 626 and a half. We're on the market and selling. There's no second chances here today. Once I announce the property is sold, once a hammer falls, the property is gone. No second chances. Can't buy it later, can't buy it tomorrow. Only here, only now at 626,500. Bids there, keys are there for the first call at 626 and a half, twice at 626 and a half, third, final call, 626,500, all done, all fin at 27. At 627, take me to 30 at 27 and a half. At 627,500 now. At 627 and a half, and we're back here again at 627 and a half. Opportunity back with you again now at 627,500. The bid's there. As I said, you've got to be decisive if you want to buy. But if you do want to buy, right now is the time to dig deep, because we're about to sell at 627,500. The bid's there. The keys are there at 27 and a half. Once at 627 and a half. Are we done? Twice at 627 and a half. Done. Finished. Third, final call at 627,500. All done, all finished, all silent out at 627 and a half. Are we absolutely sure we're done at 627 and a half? If you tell me that's your best, I'll sell it to the highest bidder. But if you've got more in you, now's the time, 628. At 628. At 628,000. And a half now at 628 and a half. They don't even let me get across the road, so you've got to be decisive. At 628 and the bid's there. At 628,000. At 628,000, bids back there. Keys are back there again. At 628,500, I apologise, at 628 and a half. At 628,500, got to be 29 in the rise. At 628 and a half, fairly been offered. At 628 and a half. At 628,500, the bid. You've told me that before. Are we absolutely sure? And just so we're clear, you can't buy like this. You can only buy like this, or throw your hands up in the air. At 628 and a half, the bid's there. How about 30? Might be the mental barrier for your competition. One last roll of the dice, and if that's going to be the case, make sure it counts. Make sure you walk away knowing that you gave it your absolute best, or walk away with the keys. But either way, don't walk away with any regret. At 628,500, the bid's there, keys are there. If you tell me you're done, I'll sell to the highest bidder at 628 and a half now. Once at 628 and a half, done. Twice at 628 and a half, done and finished. Third, final call, 628,500, all done, all finished, silent and out. Are we absolutely done, sir? Absolutely sure? Ma'am, are we done? She's not so sure, sir. She's not so sure. Can I say 29 and see what happens?
No, done.
You're definitely done?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your spirited bidding here today at 628,500. Bids there, keys are there. They tell me they're done once at 628.5. Twice at 628,500. Third, final call, 628,500. The bid, all done, all finished, silent and out at 628.5. We're definitely done here. Selling, selling, selling. Sold. Congratulations and well bid. Please join me congratulating our purchasers and our vendors here today. You've just witnessed another successful Harcourts, Rata & Co auction. Have a great weekend. Enjoy this beautiful weather and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.